Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Notes from the Sewing Room. My name's Becky. Thank you for joining me today. It's really lovely to have you with me, and I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Today's video is all about 6 different woven tops that I think are perfect for making for summer. And I'm going to talk you through each of them step by step. I've got an example of each to show you as well, of ones that I've made along the way. So I'm really looking forward to sharing, these different tops with you. Hopefully we've got something here for everyone. We've got different styles, different designs, so hopefully something that everyone's going to enjoy. If you are new to my channel is all about sewing, so if that is something that does interest you, I would love it if you could press that like button and consider subscribing to my channel, not forgetting to press that notification bell, and then of course you won't miss any of my future videos, which would be amazing. But thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. I really appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. So let's get to it and talk about our 6 different tops that I think are great for making for the warm weather. So let's get started with the one that I'm wearing. This one is actually fresh off the sewing machine. I only finished it last night and I'm really happy with it. So you may or may not be familiar with this top. This is the Sagebrush top by Friday Pattern Company, and I love it. It's quite different to other things, if I'm honest, that I've got in my wardrobe already. But I think there's a lot of things that are kind of on trend with it at the moment. I'm not really someone who kind of goes with, what's trendy or fashionable and what's not, but I am quite in love with the ruffle detail which goes across the front here, and the big poofy sleeves. It's got gathers around the top of the sleeve here, and then it's also finished with an elastic kind of channel around the arm there to create that kind of ruched detailing. The ruffle here just kind of sits in between the top yoke and the main body piece. It's finished with a bias binding, which you make yourself from your own fabric, along the neckline, and then it's got, if I just turn around slightly, hopefully you can see, it's got a little tie at the back as well, which is really nice. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about how I found this pattern overall, because I will be including it in my end of month makes video, so I'll go into more detail on it then. I will say though that I think this top is ideal to be tucked into skirts and trousers, and of course it could be worn loose as well depending on what style you like. I found that the length of this top was a little bit too long for me. I'm actually 5'10", and I do believe that this top was actually drafted for someone who was slightly more petite than me. I might be wrong, but I think it was drafted for someone who was about 5'6" rather than 5'10". But I guess it's personal preference, but I thought that the top was a little bit on the long side for me. So I decided to actually cut 3 inches off of the length of the top. So I will stand up shortly so you can actually see, but I've actually got it tucked into a skirt at the moment. So the great thing about this top is it's available in sizes extra small through to 7X. You can print it at home on A4 paper if that's what you like to do, or you can send it off to be printed at a copy shop of your choice. I almost said coffee shop there, but copy shop of or printing shop of your choice, to be printed as an AO pattern. So I actually prefer doing that because I really don't like sticking all the pages together, and also I don't have a printer at home, so printing on AO paper does tend to work better for me, and that's what I actually did for my version here. The Sagebrush top is designed to be made in a woven fabric, but I think it could look good in so many different types of fabric. I've actually used a very soft cotton lawn from Minerva to make my top here, and I was actually given this fabric for free as part of their brand ambassador team. But I think I was looking on the website, and I think they've also got it in yellow, which I quite fancy, so I might actually buy myself some of the yellow version. But it's a really soft fabric, the one that I've used, and it actually feels really nice against my skin. But I think it could also work well in a viscose or a rayon fabric, or perhaps if you wanted some thing that was a little bit more structured, you could try a cotton poplin or even a linen or something like that. But obviously it just depends on how drapey you want your final top to be and what kind of look you're going for overall. My favourite parts of this top are the generous puff sleeves. I think they're really pretty, and that's something that I'm loving at the moment. And also, this was the first time that I've ever made a ruffle. So this is my first ruffle that's running across the front of my top here, and I must say I'm quite happy with it. It's probably not perfect overall, but you know, who cares? Life's too short to worry about these things, isn't it? But I'm really looking forward to wearing this top out and about. As I said, I've only just finished it. I was on my sewing machine yesterday evening and I finished it then. So I'm looking forward to wearing it out and about very, very soon. I'm probably going to wear this top tucked into a skirt. I'm not really a trousers person. I don't tend to wear them very often. I have got jeans, but I don't really wear them very often, to be honest. So I will probably tuck it into, you know, one of my various skirts. I will just stand up so you can see it tucked into a skirt, and then I'll untuck it as well so you can see the length now I've taken off that 3 inches. So this is my top actually tucked into my skirt here, as you can see. So I think it looks quite nice tucked into a skirt. It is quite a loose fitting top. If I just undo that there, so as you can see, it's still coming to my high hip, I would say. Now I've taken that 3 inches off of there. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the top overall. And if you haven't tried it, I do recommend it. I think it's probably suitable for people who've got a little bit of sewing experience, but you don't need to be particularly advanced. I think it's suitable for someone who's made a few garments before. Or of course, if you are a more experienced sewer, then you'll be absolutely fine as well. The most complicated bits of this top, I would say, are probably adding in the elastic around there, around the arm, should I say, making the ruffle perhaps, and doing the bias binding just around the neckline. But overall, it was a really simple make, something that I really enjoyed doing. I took my time making it, if I'm honest. I kind of did 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, but that's mainly because I've got a young baby and that's how I fit in my sewing time. But obviously, if you've got more time, you could just sit down and make this top probably in an afternoon, to be honest. So this is number 1 on my list. So I hope you have enjoyed hearing about my sagebrush top. Number 2 on my list that I wanted to share with you today is the True Bias Ogden Cami. So this is one version that I've made before. I've actually used a very lightweight viscose fabric to make my top. But again, you've got lots of different choice here, I think, in terms of the woven fabrics that you can use for this. You could use a cotton poplin if you wanted something a little bit more structured. You could use a linen. You could use, perhaps if you wanted something really structured, maybe a quilting cotton. You could use obviously a cotton lawn fabric, that would work really well. So you've got lots of different options here. And because it doesn't take very much fabric, I think you can probably get this out of about 1 metre. Then I think you've got lots of options as well for potentially using up bits of scrap fabric that you've got in your stash at home. One of the great things about the Ogden Cami, and one of the great things I think about making it for summer this year, is that it can of course be worn on its own as a cami top, but if the weather is a little bit rubbish, we did have some nice weather here in the UK, but then it's gone kind of a bit, you know, damp and drizzly again. So you can put a cardigan on or a jacket and it's going to look really nice. You could put a blazer over the top. I think you've got lots of different layering options which work really well with this top. And of course you can make it in lots of different fabrics, like I said, lots of different colourways, and it could look like a completely different top if you wanted it to. I think you've got some great hack ideas kicking around with this top as well. I actually made this as a dress a little while ago. I will try and add in a picture of me wearing the dress version of this. So basically I just added a gathered skirt onto this kind of vest top. I cut my vest top off at the waist notch, and then I added on a gathered skirt and then made a little belt to go around. So that's one hack idea. You could actually make the straps a little bit longer if you wanted to, and perhaps add in a tie at the top. That could work really, really well. And of course, if you were wanting to make it as a dress, you could add any kind of skirt that you wanted. As I said, I did a gathered skirt, you could do a pleated skirt, you could add on a circle skirt. So I think, you know, the world's your oyster really with this top. Ogden Cami has got a V detail at the front, as you can probably see here, and then it's also got a V at the back. It's available in sizes 0 through to 30, and I think it's definitely suitable for beginner sewists. So if you are looking for a quick project, or you are looking for, you know, one of your first dressmaking projects perhaps, then, you know, this is perhaps a good thing to start with, as long as you don't use anything that's too slippery in terms of the fabric that you're working with. The fabric that I used, I bought from Guthrie and Garney, and it is a little bit slippery if I'm honest, and it does crease quite a lot, but I just loved the spot detail on it, and I love this kind of peach orangey kind of colourway. So as soon as I saw it, I thought, yes, I've got to have that. But I just picked up 1 metre of it quite a while ago now, and sewed up this top last summer. I actually wore this top also when I was pregnant. I was pregnant last summer, and because it's got quite a loose style, obviously depending on which size you go for, I found that it still works quite well with my pregnancy bump. I just kind of hinged it up a little bit at the front when my bump got quite large, but it did, you know, it worked quite well for me really throughout the summer period. If you are unfamiliar with the Ogden cami, this is what the pattern cover looks like here. So you can see the lovely straps, the thin straps here on the lovely model. You can see the kind of loose fitting style. And if I just turn it around here, you can see the front and back detailing here as well. So on here, it does say that it's a difficulty of 1.5. So definitely suitable for beginners, I would say. And probably the most complicated bits are actually turning through the straps, but you could use some kind of loop turner to do that, or you could use, I don't know, a knitting needle, or you could just try and bring through the strap in any of your other preferred method, to be honest. I tend to use whatever I've got kicking about, so sometimes I might use the end of a pencil or something like that just to try and help me work through the actual straps so that you get them the right way round. But overall, this is a really quick make. Again, something you could do in an afternoon or an evening perhaps, or you can just fit it in whenever you fancy. I really like that this top is finished with a little lining, just a little facing just around the top and into the back section as well, which you know, saves you adding on any bias binding if that's something that phases you. But I quite like a facing. I think it gives a top a professional finish. So this is definitely a top that I would recommend, and something that, you know, I've enjoyed making, and I'm definitely planning on making more this summer myself. Number 3 on my list today is the Tilly and the Buttons Stevie top. So this is a version that I made. I made my version in a cotton lawn fabric that's got some pencils all over it. So if I just move closer to the camera, you can see the print of the fabric. So I believe this was actually a Liberty fabric, but I bought it from, I'll probably get the name wrong, I think it was Akaban Fabrics online. I bought it quite a while ago, but I think that the cotton lawn worked really, really well for this particular project. But of course, you could use any fabric that you fancy as a woven, or, I mean, you could probably have a go at doing it as a jersey. I'm not sure how well that would work though, to be honest, but I think it's designed to be made for a woven fabric. The Stevie is a really quick project to do if you're looking for something that's quite straightforward. It doesn't have any zips, it doesn't have any darts, it doesn't have any set-in sleeves or anything like that. So it's got the lovely grown-on sleeves here. It's finished with a facing just around the top, and it's got some lovely details about it. I quite like the boxy fit of it, which is quite nice. Perfect for summer because it's nice and kind of loose, and you know, you can get a bit of air in if you get a little bit too warm. It's got a lovely detailing at the back where it's got this lovely little tie, and the little section just before that is kind of left open. So I really like that about this top. Now, the great thing about the Stevie pattern, this is actually the pattern cover if you are unfamiliar with it. It can be made as a dress, or it can be made as a top like the one that I'm wearing at the moment. Now the top is actually designed to come to the high hip, or you could make the longer dress version, of course. So I actually made the Tilly and the Buttons size 3 for my top, and then for the dress version that I've made as well, I actually sized out slightly. So I did a size 3 on the top, and then I sized out to a 4 at the bottom. That's mainly because my hips are a little bit wider than my top half, basically. The fabric suggestions for this particular dress or top are light to medium weight woven fabrics such as linen, double gauze, chambray, cotton lawn, viscose or rayon. But if you are a more confident sewer, you could try something a little bit more slippery perhaps, or difficult to work with, like a silk or something like that. The Stevie top is available in UK sizes 6 through to 24. And of course it comes with the great little instruction booklet that, you know, if you get any of Tilly's printed patterns or PDF patterns, you always get these fantastic instructions which just guide you through step by step with all the pictures and little instructions as well. So I love Tilly's patterns, I'm a massive fan, and I wasn't sure, to be honest, if I was going to like this Stevie top when I first made it. And the same with the dress, to be honest, because I'm not someone that particularly likes wearing things that are too loose generally, but I think that this top is perfect for summer. As I said, it's quite loose, it's quite flowy depending on what material you use, and I think it's suitable for wearing, you know, with jeans, or, you know, culottes or something like that. Or of course you could tuck it into a nice skirt. I think it would look lovely with a midi length skirt, something like that, or a little you know, mini denim skirt, something like that. But I really like my Stevie top. I have worn it quite a lot since I made it, And again, I made it, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I think it's one of those things that doesn't really go out of fashion. So it's something that you can have, you know, in your wardrobe for quite a long time. If you were looking for other inspiration with the Stevie, then don't forget to have a little look on Instagram and search hashtag sewing Stevie, and I'm sure you'll find lots of different versions on there. I know it's been one of Tilly's really popular patterns, and you know, you can definitely see why, and it's definitely one that I would recommend making for summer this year. Number 4 on my list to show you today is actually the Crafty So pin tuck cami top. So this is actually available under the My Handmade Wardrobe brand, I think, but you can find lots of information on the Crafty So website about it. Now, I made this top last summer, and again, I think it's perfect for this time of year. It's got lots of nice little details about it which make it a little bit different to the Ogden cami, which I talked about earlier in this video. It's actually got some lovely little pin tucks, and we'll just move a little bit closer, hopefully you can see. It's got some lovely little pin tucks that run just down the top here. My top's a little bit creased, unfortunately, but yeah, they just run just down there. It's got a kind of, it's not a square neckline, but it's not an actual scoop either. It's got slightly thicker straps than the Ogden cami, and it's actually finished with a facing. Now, this top is actually available as both a paper pattern and a PDF pattern, and it's available in extra small through to extra large. It's got quite a loose fit to this one. I think that I made the size medium when I made mine, but to be honest, if I was to make it again, I'd probably size down just a little bit, just because of the A-line kind of shape of the top overall. Again, this was suitable with my pregnancy bump last summer, but obviously I can still wear it now, which is fantastic. It means that I get lots of wear basically out of the top. I decided to make this in a cotton lawn fabric. I love the kind of green colourway of this with the pop of orange as well on the flowers. But again, I think this would be suitable in lots of different types of fabric. But because you are doing those pin tucks, it's a little bit easy to do the pin tucks if you're going to use a fabric that doesn't move around too much. So I found that the cotton lawn worked quite well for me. This was actually the first time that I'd ever done pin tucks, but I found that the pattern really kind of held my hand through the making process, and you know, I really enjoyed it, and I just thought, why haven't I done this before, to be honest? So, but I think this is, you know, it's a slightly different type of top because it's got, you know, those little details at the front there which just make it stand out from other bits and pieces that I've already got in my wardrobe. So because of the nature of the top, it is a cami top, so again, perfect for summer. It's a nice and cool thing to wear, but much like the Ogden cami, it can be layered up really easily as well by, you know, putting a cardigan over the top or a little jacket. It works really well with a denim jacket. I've worn it with my denim jacket quite a few times, and of course tucked into a skirt, or, you know, loose over some trousers, or, you know, whatever you fancy. But because it's got the loose kind of fit to it, you've got lots of options in the way that you wear it. I think you could hack this really easily as well into a nice long dress, perhaps a maxi dress or a midi length dress if you just continue the pattern pieces downwards, you know, whatever you fancy. But I like mine as a cami top. So again, that this is definitely one that I would recommend making for summer this year if you are looking for something different. Next on my list is the Sew Over It Dana blouse, and this is from the Capsule Wardrobe book by Sew Over It, Work to Weekend. Now this is actually a loose fitting blouse, as you can see, and it's got a slightly longer sleeve than, you know, your regular kind of short sleeve, but also it's not too long. It's got a boxy fit to it. It is quite loose in its design, and there's a lot of nice features about this blouse. It can be made as a dress or as a top, so you've got options there. I think there's actually 3 different variations of this that you can actually make from the pattern pack itself. You can make it as a cropped blouse, a regular length blouse, or you can make it as a dress. The dress has a narrow little belt that you can make with it as well, a little tie, I think, if that's what you fancied. I've actually not had a go at making the dress myself, but I do like the blouse, and I think it's suitable for wearing into the office, or, you know, for hanging about at home, just doing, you know, whatever you're doing out and about. It's got a very loose shape to it. It's got this quite deep V at the front here, and it's finished with some buttons down the centre front. I decided to finish mine with some little heart buttons, and I wanted those to be on show. So it is actually designed to have a little button placket at the front, or a kind of covered button placket, should I say. But I actually decided to skip over those instructions and just put in a kind of regular button placket instead, because I wanted to see my buttons. But obviously you don't have to, you could include the kind of covered placket if that's what you prefer. I think this top looks really nice, styled with some chunky jewellery, you know, some chunky beads or necklace, that kind of thing, or perhaps some chunky earrings. I think because you've got this nice V detail at the front here, you've got lots of options for kind of dressing up the blouse by having something around your neck area here, or some lovely earrings, like I said. I don't wear earrings often enough. I should definitely wear more earrings, to be honest, but now I've got a baby who likes to kind of tug on things. It's you know, not ideal for me to wear too many earrings at the moment that are dangly, but definitely in the future I'll move back to wearing more kind of dangly earrings, I think. So it is something that I do like to wear. This blouse is available in UK sizes 8 through to 20. And I really like that it's from one of the Sew Over It ebooks as well, the Work Through to the Weekend book, because you've got quite a few different things that you can make from that ebook. And you know, this is just one of them. So you know, you buy that kind of pattern booklet, and then you've got lots of different options there. And you know, in this one pattern, like I said, you've got 3 different variations that you can make of the blouse, or you know, you can make it as a dress. And I love that. I love that you've got different options, and I just feel like you're really getting your money's worth, you know, out of a pattern when you've got that choice. I decided to make my blouse out of a viscose fabric. This was something that I picked up from a craft fair that I went to a while ago, I think from Sewalicious Fabrics, but it was a couple of years ago that I actually bought this fabric, to be honest. But I love the bright, you know, flower print on there. It's got the dark background with the grey and the red flowers on there. So I love it. And it's definitely a blouse that I would, you know, recommend you making if you are looking for something that's suitable for, you know, the warmer weather, or something again that you can layer up. Number 6 on my list today is actually a hack from the Tilly and the Buttons Make It Simple book, and here it is. So this top is actually a hack from the Make It Simple book by Tilly and the Buttons, and it is from the wrap front play suit. So basically, I have taken the top of the play suit here, and I've just kind of made it my own, basically. So I didn't want to add on the shorts at this time. I've actually not made a play suit, and I really do want to have a go at making a play suit at some point. But I thought that this would make a really nice wrap top, which is what it's done, basically. So I'm just going to scan the camera down in a second so that you can actually see it. So what I decided to do was I added on a long kind of strap, which is just finished around the back there, a tie, should I say. And I've actually added in a small hole, which is a bit like a buttonhole, I would say, just in the side of my seam, just here. And then the belt kind of threads all the way through. So without revealing too much, this is my long tie here, and it's got the wrap front, and then that goes all the way. So we've basically got a tie on this section here, and then we've got a tie on the other section of the wrap, and then we tie them at the back together. So you can, of course, have this as loose or not as you want it to be. It just works so well as a wrap top, and I think you could layer this up over a dress. I think that could be really nice. Again, you know, you could wear it with whatever you want. I tend to wear mine with skirts, but I love the sleeves on this. They're grown on sleeves, so easy to do. I decided to make mine version in a cotton poplin fabric, which I bought from a local market. I love this peacock design on the fabric here. And I think because the design of the fabric is a little bit busy, actually using it for something like this that is so simple and straightforward is amazing. And you know, this is so easy to do. It doesn't take long to either trace out from the book, or you can, you know, send off, get it printed, you know, whatever you want to. But the instructions in the book are really, really good. So basically, you just don't follow the bit for the shorts, and you just add on your extra ties instead. And then, like I said, create the little buttonhole type thing just in the side seam, thread through your belt, and away you go. Now this top is, or should I say play suit, is available in Tilly and the Button sizes 1 through to 10. I decided to make my version in a size 3. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with it overall, and I definitely recommend you hacking this top as well if you'd like to. Yeah, it's something that I hope to wear a lot this summer, And again, it's something that I don't really think will date in terms of fashion designs and that sort of thing. So I am going to be going on a little trip to Wales over the summer, so I'm looking forward to wearing it there. I think it'll be something nice and kind of breezy that I can wear with flip-flops and that sort of stuff. So yeah, definitely one to try if you fancy it. There are of course lots of other fantastic patterns in this Make It Simple book as well, if you are unfamiliar with it, but I know plenty of you out there will have made loads of things from this Make It Simple book. I think it's fantastic. I think it's probably one of my favourite Tilly books, to be honest. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about my top collection today and my recommendations for things that you can make for summer 2021. And maybe I've given you a little bit of inspiration. I'd love to know, you know, what your favourite woven tops are. Feel free to leave me a message below. I love to chat to you in the comment section. If you have enjoyed watching today's video, I would love it if you could give me a thumbs up, because that will help other people that like sewing see my video. And if you haven't subscribed already, it would be amazing if you could consider doing that. But thank you to everyone who has subscribed already, and of course thank you to everyone who does watch my videos every week. Apologies, this video is slightly late this week. Couldn't be helped really. I just wasn't feeling too well over the weekend, so I didn't have a chance to film, but I'm feeling much better now. So yeah, but I hope you've enjoyed watching today's video, and thank you so much for, you know, being here with me. I've really enjoyed it, so I hope you have as well. But I shall be back on the channel hopefully next week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.